Hello, everyone. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the organizing committee for asking me to contribute to the AI for IA conference. It is great to see different actors, academics, and practitioners contributing to this topic on AI's use for information access, which is a key pillar in democracy, human rights, freedom of expression, and for better transparency and accountability of public services, among other things. This year, I'd like to discuss briefly on deliberative democracy. Deliberative democracy is a school of thought in political theory that claims that political decisions should be the product of fair and reasonable discussions and debate among citizens. In deliberations, citizens exchange arguments and consider different claims that are designed to secure the public good. Through these conversations, citizens can come to an argument about what procedure, action, or policy will best produce the public good. In this process, there needs to be access to information. First, governments and decision makers need to access the information from the public deliberation and make sense of it so that they can respond to it. And then second, the public also need access to the results of the deliberations because not all deliberations will be happening at the same time or at the same place. So this ensures that there is a level of transparency and accountability in the process without which democracy is threatened. To deliver this, some governments are now applying a new class of deliberative technologies. These digital tools support public discussions on policy issues, encourage citizens to participate and synthesize a wide range of insights. Such tools can help large numbers of people listen at scale to each other and add individual inputs and find common grounds in the time of polarization or when people can't agree on different topics. They apply artificial intelligence to synthesize different insights from the public so that the information is accessed by the government, and then the results are also shared back to the public for easy accessibility. I would now like to showcase one of these tools called Talk to the City and how we've used it, where we've combined WhatsApp to allow people to send in their views about a particular topic, and they can send it through voice, where you actually send a voice note, and they discuss this issue, and then they send it back to us, and then we take these different voice notes from different people, and then we analyze it through this platform called Talk to the City. And I'll show you using a sample data set, and we can see how it works. So allow me to share my screen. All right, here we go. All right, so this is Talk to the City, and it's an open source large language model interface for improving collective deliberation and decision making by analyzing detailed qualitative data. It aggregates responses and arranges similar arguments into clusters. So this has been developed by the AI Objectives Institute. So I'm going to click here, talktothecity.org, and it's going to take me to the platform. And I already have an account. So as you can see at the bottom here, I'm logged in. I already have an account. If you don't have an account and it's your first time accessing Talk to the City, it will take you to a landing page where you can actually set up an account. So I'm going to create a new report. And in this new report, I'm going to call it AI for IA tutorial. And here you can provide the description about your report or your program that you want to run. So somebody who lands on it can actually see what the program is about and the feedback that you're gathering. So I'm going to click on create. All right. And once I create, it will give me this template. And this template, I'll walk you through a similar template. But the template is all the different steps that the platform will be taking to deliver the output that you need. So I won't use this default template. What I'm going to use is this template called Whisper template because it allows me to use an audio file as input. So this means that all the audio files that have been sent in by different people, I can analyze them through these templates. So I'm going to click on apply. And so I'll give you a brief overview of the program that I'm going to analyze for this tutorial. So this is it is actually a radio program designed to connect refugees who have fled conflict and host communities that have youth members who are out of school to connect them with job opportunities in their own contexts. So there was a radio program that was developed, and there were facilitators who were running radio listening sessions in the communities and implementing this program. So we did ask these facilitators some questions about the radio program and the impact it had on the communities. And what they did is they sent back voice notes. And these are the voice notes that we're now using to analyze to see whether the program was successful according to the facilitators. Then the next step would be to ask the public also their views, and they can also send the views through voice note. So imagine we are a government and we wanted to find out whether a program that we were implementing was successful. So this could be one of the ways that we could deliver this platform where we ask people to share their views about a particular program that we are delivering or a service. Or we can also ask people who are implementing that service to the communities to get their feedback on whether it's working or not and how the community is receiving that particular service. So this can be on service delivery. It can be on a policy that you want to put out to pass in a particular context, and people can provide feedback on that particular policy after reading it and providing their input. So, and they can, again, like I say, they can provide the input using audio. So I'm going to upload audio from these 8 people. So this has been merged into one audio file. So as it's uploading, I also want to point out that Talk to the City uses OpenAI. So that means that can also be a limitation because OpenAI does not support all languages in different contexts, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. Some of the smaller languages are not supported on OpenAI. So in this tutorial, the submissions were made in English. So we did ask questions in English, and the facilitators who are implementing that program responded in English through voice. So you can check the list of languages that are supported by OpenAI if you want to use this platform in future, so that you can see how to best apply which type of language in your context is suitable. So now I've uploaded the audio file here. And like I said, it uses OpenAI, and that means you need to have an API key. So if, for instance, if you have a ChatGPT account, then you can use your ChatGPT API key to include it here. And then it's going to be using the Whisper AI. So this is the one that configures a speech to text transcription. So it's going to take all the audio and then transcribe it into text and then analyze it. So don't worry about this here because the language is in English. The response format is a custom one. And then if it was one interview, then we'd write the name of the person being interviewed here. But because we're looking at 10 people who submitted their voice notes, then we're just going to leave it open. And then number of rows to be processed. So as the data is being transcribed into text, so you can select the number of rows that you want to be processed. So right now its default is 2, but I'm just going to put 20 so that it can collect as much information as possible. And then from that, analyze if there are any similar trends, similar points of view from the different people who submitted the input. Okay, and then here we have the cluster extraction. So this is the prompt. We'll ask the large language model to cluster this data into groups of similar views. So I'm going to select ChatGPT 4.4. So this will give you options of which GPT to use. So I'll just select 4.0. Like I said, this is also part of OpenAI. And then here are the prompts. So I will give you a long list of comments extracted from so it's supposed to be audio interviews instead of video. So you can also use video, but I'm going to use audio interviews on the topic of the Who Are You radio program. So that is a radio program that I did mention, I mentioned earlier. So I'll just write Who of the Who Are You radio program. Okay, so that was the radio program that was implemented. It was actually being played to the different youth. And then I want you to propose a way to break down the information. Yes. And then instead of keeping the topic and subtopic concise, I'll just say use a short description to explain what the topic is about. Okay. And after that, there is an argument extraction. So this one prompts the LLM to organize the data into clusters it generated in the previous steps. So here, all this information will be organized into clusters using the argument extraction. So here I'm also selecting the GPT 4.0, or 4 not, sorry. And then there's a prompt as well. And here the prompt is basically asking, I want you to extract a list of concise claims that the interviewee may have made or supported if they had been asked the questions. What are the most important challenges faced by your community? So here we'll say what has been the impact of the Who Are You radio program. So this, you can ask it anything depending on what your particular issue is that you want to address. So it can be, what has been the impact of the service delivered to you by government? What has been the impact of this policy that was passed, and so on and so forth. So I won't read through all of this, but it's there so you can just pause and just get to read what the prompt is. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate report. So when I generate report, this green point will appear, this green dot will appear here. That means that is the first step, that the Talk to the City is running, and it's checking the audio file to see if it's compatible. So it has finished that, and then it will move into the Whisper. And now what the Whisper is doing is, the Whisper is basically configuring the transcription. And if I click on this blue point here, it will say it is actually transcribing the audio. So this might take a bit of time depending on how long your audio file is, how many interviews you've done, and it just depends on that type of content that you have. So like I said, we have 8 interviews that were conducted, and the basically they're not interviews or submissions. So the interviews were asked questions, and then they just submitted the answers using WhatsApp, and they use audio on WhatsApp. So if you have large groups, you can just ask them to do it at their own comfort, where you ask them one question, say, how do you feel about this policy? How do you feel about this law? How do you feel about this new project the government is doing? And then you have them submit their views and opinions using voice. So now it has finished transcribing, and then now it will go into cluster extraction. And the cluster extraction is pretty straightforward. If I click on it, it is computing the clusters. And now it has found 3 topics from those audio files, and 7 subtopics. And then now it will move into the argument extraction. And then once it runs the argument extraction, it will finish all of the steps. As you can see, it's showing up there. The data set has been updated. And now on the left-hand side, you will see a new column of activities. And if I scroll, a new column of text. And if I scroll down, you will see here it shows the different clusters. So the first 3 clusters. So the first one, it says business ideas and implementation. This topic focuses on the business ideas generated by participants and the implementation. So if you remember, we did ask what was the impact on the Who Are You radio program. And what will happen here is it will show that there were business ideas generated by participants and the implementation. And we can actually go to that cluster and see here it says instances where participants share their business ideas with a group and for feedback. So if I click on that, it will now take me here and says, one of the impact of this program was sharing business ideas. So participants share their business ideas with the group for feedback and support. This was repeated 2 times by all the different interviewees. And then participants have shared their businesses with the group. So this keeps on recurring. So that's, and if I click on it, it will show me where the AI generated that claim from, because you don't want it to hallucinate. So we asked it to identify the text from which that claim was made. And then another claim was examples of participants who have successfully started their own businesses as a result of the program. So this is another impact. And it goes on. And here's another one, impact on participants, the skill development. So if I click on that, it says the program helps participants develop skills useful for employment and business management. So I can go on, and these are just other types of clusters. It says the different types of business participants were considering or have started. So this is another impact, where if I click on that, it will show me participants are considering or have started different types of businesses. Participants are using the knowledge gained from the program to choose the type of business to start, and so on and so forth. So These are just the top clusters based on what I asked the machine to do. And if you have others, for instance, you can ask what challenges were facing the radio program, and then it will also deliver this. Now, this information is ideally shared back to the public. So imagine this was a policy question. We were asking about policy. It's shared back to the public with a bit more of information here. And then the public gets to see what majority of the people are saying. So for instance, like here, you see this was repeated 2 times because this was a small group. So imagine you had 1,000 people. This can perhaps would have been repeated 20 times. So when the public sees this information, then the question is whether they change their opinion, whether they change their standing on a particular issue, and then you run it again. And then once you run it again, you get to see whether people have changed their opinions about a particular policy or a service that was being delivered. And then you show them the results. And then now you can start implementing the solutions or the policies or amending the policies based on what people have said. So in this way, people are sort of in a way deliberating because they get to see what other people are thinking, and then they determine whether they want to change their opinions or not. So with these types of deliberation, multiple people from different contexts can be able to engage on a particular issue that is affecting them without necessarily having to attend a town hall forum, or for instance, in context where it's a bit challenging because of insecurity, where there is conflict, they can still propose ideas of how to address conflict, and the government can actually act on it. And this can be done using voice, and it addresses issues of reading and writing, where that is a challenge. So again, there's a limitation on languages captured, but we are exploring to see if OpenAI has more languages, you can add the languages there. But this allows different people to participate in deliberations on issues that are affecting them and have their voices included in some of these issues. And with this type of engagement, we actually get to see more participation and achieve deliberative democracy. Thank you very much.